The ever-changing landscape of the international stage is never short of dramatic stories. The relationships between countries are sometimes even more fascinating than the feuds among wealthy families in TV dramas, full of twists and turns, as well as intense games of strategy. Today, let's talk about Russia and India, once hailed as strategic brothers. What on earth has happened between them that has made their relationship so delicate all of a sudden? Let's first turn back the clock to one of the most significant days in Russia each year, the Victory Day Parade on May 9th. This day holds profound significance for the Russian people. It serves not only as a commemoration of the tens of millions of heroes who sacrificed their lives to defend their motherland and resist fascism during World War II, but also as a declaration to the world that Russia is a crucial architect of the victory in World War II and has made indelible contributions to the global anti-fascist war. Meanwhile, the parade is an excellent opportunity for Russia to showcase its powerful military might and national strength. Every parade is like a meticulously prepared display of power, drawing the attention of the whole world. This year's Victory Day Parade carries even more special significance. On one hand, 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union in the Great Patriotic War, a historic moment that all Russians take pride in and will always remember. On the other hand, the Russia-Ukraine conflict has persisted for a considerable period and now stands at a crucial crossroads. Whether to pursue peace talks or not and what the terms of such talks should be are not only issues that concern the future of Russia and Ukraine, but also the core focus of the power games among major countries. The entire world is watching closely to see where this long-lasting conflict will ultimately lead. Since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war, Russia's situation on the international stage has become extremely challenging. Western countries led by the United States, along with a large number of their allies, have launched wave after wave of sanctions and boycotts against Russia. From the economic and energy sectors to the financial market and scientific and technological cooperation, they have carried out a comprehensive and all-round suppression of Russia. In such an international environment, Russia has been treading carefully in its diplomatic endeavors. It understands that to break through the Western blockade, it must seek new allies and support. Therefore, Russia has shifted its diplomatic focus to maintaining relationships with neutral countries, and China and India have naturally become the key countries that Russia pays special attention to. China and Russia are good partners with a profound historical bond and strategic mutual trust. As major victorious countries in World War II, China and Russia have a shared experience of jointly fighting against fascism in history. This kind of camaraderie forged through adversity cannot be established overnight. Thus, in the face of Russia's invitation to the parade, China naturally shows its full support. China spares no effort in giving due respect and backing up its old friend with practical actions. However, India's actions have really taken everyone by surprise, staging a reversal drama that rivals those in Hollywood blockbusters. At first, India spread the word that Prime Minister Narendra Modi attached great importance to Russia's Victory Day Parade and even planned to attend it in person in Moscow. Once this news got out, Russia was overjoyed. You know, as a major country in South Asia, India also wields a certain influence on the international stage. If Modi could attend in person, it would undoubtedly add a great deal of luster to Russia's parade and, to some extent, break the isolation imposed on Russia by the West. Russia started its preparations with great anticipation, looking forward to the arrival of this important guest. Nevertheless, the plot took a dramatic turn at this point. Just after a senior US official, Vance's full name if available, visited India, the situation took a sharp downturn. Modi directly announced the cancellation of his trip and instead sent the Minister of Defense to attend on his behalf. This decision immediately set off a storm of discussion in the international public opinion arena. Many people criticized India for its unethical behavior, believing that in order to cozy up to the United States, which is like a wealthy patron, India had betrayed Russia's sincere friendship. But who could have expected that this was not the end of the story? On May 3rd, India came up with another unexpected move. The Minister of Defense, who was originally scheduled to attend the parade in Moscow, also decided not to go and was replaced by a Minister of State for Defense. This successive downgrading of the attending official clearly shows that India didn't take Russia's parade seriously at all. Even India's own media outlet, The Times of India, if today refers to it, couldn't help but joke that this might be the most embarrassing delegation in the history of the Red Square Parade. Russia had painstakingly prepared this grand parade for so long, only to be left hanging by India. Anyone would be outraged by such treatment. As the saying goes, one can tolerate certain things, but not everything. Russia, which had been ignored for so long, finally decided to no longer swallow its pride and was determined to teach India a lesson. In fact, India has had great ambitions in recent years, single-mindedly aiming to suppress Pakistan and dominate South Asia. But India also knows very well that relying solely on its own strength is not enough, and it has to seek the support of major powers for everything it does. Among the major powers in the international arena, the ones that can back India up are mainly the United States and Russia. Previously, when India stirred up trouble under the pretext of terrorist attacks, both the United States and Russia did express their support for India, which made India a bit complacent. However, India has been acting in a rather unseemly way. On one hand, it has been enjoying the benefits of Russia's low-priced oil, and on the other hand, it has been wholeheartedly currying favor with the United States, showing no regard for Russia's dignity at all. In response, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov directly called his Indian counterpart to remind India that the disputes between India and Pakistan should be resolved through diplomatic means. Although the words were spoken politely, the underlying message was clear. Russia does not support India's use of force against Pakistan. Lavrov also specifically emphasized that according to the provisions of the similar agreement in 1970 and the Lahore Declaration in 1999, both India and Pakistan should resolve their differences through peaceful means. Russia's statement was like a bucket of cold water, instantly dousing India's plans. Some of you might not be fully aware of the weight of Russia's warning this time. We can understand it in depth from three aspects. Equivalent response. Since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war, India has maintained a neutral stance, neither supporting nor opposing Russia. Prime Minister Modi even advised President Putin at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit to resolve the issue through peaceful means. There is nothing inherently wrong with India's neutrality. However, it is unreasonable for India to enjoy the benefits from Russia while trying to play the role of an impartial mediator. Now, Russia's non-support for India's use of force in the India-Pakistan issue is a return of India's own attitude. It is telling India with practical actions, "I will treat you the way you treat me." Severe warning. Although both situations involve non-support for the use of force, India's non-alignment with Russia during the Russia-Ukraine war has not had a significant impact on Russia. However, Russia's non-support for India in the India-Pakistan disputes is a major headache for India. Why do I say so? Because India is heavily dependent on Russia for its military equipment. From fighter jets to tanks, from warships to missiles, many of the advanced weapons in the Indian military are imported from Russia. If Russia does not support India's military actions against Pakistan, no matter how ambitious India is, it can only stand by helplessly and be unable to take any action. It's just like in the popular online short dramas, where a heartless woman spends the money of her admirer without showing any respect for him. Once the admirer stops flattering her, she can only feel angry and helpless. Shift in stance. In the past on the international stage, Russia supported India, and China supported Pakistan, and the relationship between China and Russia had its ups and downs. But the situation is different now. Russia has fallen out with the West, and India is leaning towards the West, only thinking about reaping benefits from Russia without being willing to give anything in return. This has really left a bad taste in Russia's mouth. If India uses force against Pakistan, it will definitely involve China. After all, without China's support, the gap in strength between Pakistan and India is too large. And Russia now also cannot do without China's support. If it allows India and Pakistan to go to war, Russia will be in a very awkward position. Therefore, before reaching a reconciliation with the West, it is highly likely that Russia will not support India's military actions against Pakistan. At this point, some of you might ask, will the relationship between Russia and India completely break down in the end? In my opinion, it is highly unlikely. From a historical perspective, the relationship between Russia and India has endured for decades, and its foundation is quite solid. Russia has long been accustomed to being exploited by India and has gotten used to India's capricious behavior, always playing the role of the devoted, infatuated man who gives silently. Russia is not doing this out of foolishness, but rather because it values India's geographical location and development potential. India is located on the South Asian subcontinent and serves as an important hub connecting Europe, Asia, and Africa, holding a crucial strategic position. Moreover, with a large population, India has great market potential and promising development prospects in the future. As long as Russia still wants to be a global power and continue to play its strategic role on the international stage, it will keep trying to win over India and at least will not have a complete breakdown with it. After all, Russia has limited economic strength and not many cards to play, and it can only rely on the two strategies of selling weapons and energy at low prices to continue allowing India to take advantage of it. For India, it will not easily break off relations with Russia either. On one hand, Russia is like a high-quality sheep from which India can continuously obtain benefits. From low-priced oil and natural gas to advanced military equipment, India has reaped a lot of benefits from Russia. On the other hand, although India is trying to get close to the United States in order to develop its economy, without the strong support of Russia, India is very likely to be controlled by the United States and lose its capital to maneuver among major powers. The United States is no benevolent philanthropist. Once India loses its value of being exploited, it is very likely to be cast aside by the United States. So, India also understands that it cannot afford to lose Russia, which is like a big tree providing support. In conclusion, the current conflicts between Russia and India are just temporary setbacks, not a strategic break. It's just like some remarried families. Although it is difficult for the members to completely open their hearts to each other, they still cannot live without each other and have to continue living together. What kind of stories will unfold between Russia and India on the international stage in the future? How will their relationship develop? The grand drama of the power games among major countries is far from over, and let's wait and see.